I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
And this is When I Die Tomorrow by the band Fist of Five, which is a really, really cool story about the channel. We're pretty good friends with
Captain Pants.
I'm just going to say Captain Pants.
Yeah.
If you would like your band reviewed, send me an email, vinandsori@gmail.com. We'll try to work that out. But this band has a really, really cool story. And they're currently remastering a classic record with one of the, I think, sound engineers that worked with Pantera.
Yeah.
Or producers.
Yeah, remastered
engineer.
by Pantera's longtime engineer.
I mean, so there's a lot more I could say about this band, but I'm not going to. I'm completely name dropping. I'm completely saying, hey, because of our channel, we've got the privileges of meeting all these amazing musicians, and it's true. Tell the truth. Speaking of amazing musicians, I just dropped the very rough draft of a song that's coming out with the collaborative effort from The Village. I'm not going to name all the players involved, but that's on the way. So now I'm just waiting for my other guitarist to lay his guitar tracks down so it actually can sound listenable. And then, of course, we've got a drummer, and hey, if you are the Fireside guy that was the bassist, please send us an email so that we can put you in the group. Because
you're missing out.
Yeah, I think the guy's got like a 5 or 6 string bass or something like that. So we're definitely going to have that new metal core and feel. But anyway, Fist of Five, When I Die Tomorrow, let's go.
All right, here we go.
Step onto the stage, share emotions with my friends, sing about life and sorrow, knowing we all can relate. When I die tomorrow, light your candle for me.
Jeez.
When I die tomorrow, will you remember me? Remember me. Your last breath came from a melody we all sing in tune. Now the clouds hold your memory, the rain plays it through. When I die tomorrow, light your candle for me. When I die tomorrow, will you remember me? Remember me. Remember me. influences was tomorrow's past. Thanks for the show. Thanks for the show. When I cry tomorrow, will light the candle for you. When I cry tomorrow, we'll remember you. When I die tomorrow, light your candle for me. When I die tomorrow, will you remember me? Remember me. Remember me.
I know you've heard this 100 times. Absolutely. I'm hoping that's what happens, but I got it. Traditional family values here in Oklahoma. I know you've heard this 100 times. Absolutely. I'm hoping that's what happens, but I got it.
That's the song "Oh Fortuna." Oh Fortuna.
What?
Dun 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 dun. Dun. You never heard that before?
That sounds familiar, but
Dun 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 dun. You never
Yeah.
heard that before? It's like a classic. Oh Fortuna. That's the name of the song. Anyway,
a fuzz in here.
where's Shannon when you need her? Okay. When I die tomorrow, what do you think it's about?
Oh, I mean, it just sounded like, everybody's gonna end up dying, but like, he's saying, look, when you die tomorrow, I'm gonna light a candle for you, I'm gonna cry for you. Do the same thing for me when I go. But I really liked his piano work in this.
Yeah. So.
The vocal style reminded me of something that I used to listen to when I was like 13.
That vocalist they have can really sing. Mm-hmm. And
Yeah, he's versatile.
And the dude can really write too. Where he talks about the clouds hold your memory, the rain plays it through.
It was sad.
Yeah, this is one of these like these ballads, one of these piano ballad thingamajiggies. Good Lord, it seems to me that it's talking about musicians that died and basically
Oh, not everybody, just musicians, what you're thinking.
well, because it talks about I step on the stage, share emotions with my friends,
Your last breath came from yeah.
sing about life
We
and
all sing in tune,
sorrow.
yeah, mhm.
Your last breath came from a melody we all sing in tune. So it looks like it's talking about just the history of rock and roll, which is people always ask me what's the toughest thing about this channel, and I think that's the toughest thing about the channel is like finding a musician or finding a band and you fall in love with them and then they're gone. I was thinking about Dio a lot because this guy vocally, because they really centered his vocals on this song. Mm-hmm. So this dude can sing. So it made me think about Dio is my favorite vocalist of all time, I think. And you know, although with Dio it's kind of like, I think he was in his 60s, he had cancer. The hard stuff for me is like the Dimebags or the, you know, all the other bands that you run into and you're like, yo, they're dead in their 30s or their 40s. Chester being another example, you know, from Linkin Park. Yeah. So it's one of those things where these guys are singing about pain and sorrow, and it's not a shtick, it's not a gimmick, it's real, and a lot of the time these guys end up dead. So I just think it's like it's a sort of like a salute to those guys, while at the same time it's kind of like this eerie type of like, I'm gonna be in that line of people who die, you know, on stage, or not necessarily on stage, but I don't know. I'm not really a fan of the concept of any of these people dying premature deaths.
Well, yeah, I know. He says, we'll remember you, and then he asks them, will you remember me? And that, this is so weird, but last night I had a dream where there was this man, and he was thanking the parents and the children because, like, you know how, like, you'll share corn with your kids because it's been impactful for you, and then, you know, out of your however many kids you're going to have, not all of them are going to like corn or even, you know, be at all interested in listening to it. But you might find one or two of them that might find the same love for corn that you do, and they might carry that torch to the next generation.
Those kids will immediately become my favorite kids.
So, in the dream,
so
the
if you're
man...
watching, kids, if you want Dad to love you a little bit more than your brother or sister...
That's the true spot of the golden child.
Love you some corn.
So in the dream, the man was thanking, because he was supposed to tend the graves of the artists that had died, the musicians that had died. So he was supposed to make sure.
That was in your dream?
Yeah, he was supposed to make sure that they had flowers and lights and different things by their grave. And so he said, when I show up and I see flowers there, I thought it was extremely sad because when he showed up, the flowers were dead, which means they weren't fresh from that day. But he looked at it as, the last time I came, I put the stuff, and since then somebody came, so like people were keeping their memories alive. And so he was thanking the parents for sharing the love of music and the love of the artist with their children, and that it was creating that love in their children to still like keep the memory of those artists alive.
Did you know we were doing this song?
I had no clue.
Last night?
I had no clue.
So
and
weird.
Even when we did the song, I didn't even know what the song was going to be about. But
so
yeah, it was pretty bizarre.
That's chilly.
Yeah,
Just
it
got
was.
some chills on that.
Well,
That's
when
pretty
it was
ridiculous.
playing, I was like, wait a minute, that dream I had. Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it was pretty weird.
Captain Pants, we're going to have to discontinue our relationship. This is too freaky. God almighty. And he talks about, like, to the influence whose tomorrow's past, thanks for the show. That's one of the other things. Mm-hmm. You know, it was like this movie, Field of Dreams. You know, have you ever seen the Kevin Costner movie, Field of Dreams?
I don't think so.
You know, if you build it, they will come, da-da-da-da.
I don't think so.
It's this baseball player, like, well, he was basically a fan of baseball. And he had this, like, cornfield, I think it was. I wasn't really paying attention because I was busy playing ping pong. But the guy had this cornfield, and, you know, he was a big, fan. And I think it was Shoeless Joe Jackson was his favorite player. They got caught up in this scandal.
Shoeless?
Shoeless Joe Jackson, that was the guy's nickname.
Okay.
Because I guess he ran without shoes or whatever. But the big thing was, it was all these people from the past. You know, he'd been a baseball collector of cards or whatever. So he makes this baseball field, and then all these like old, dead baseball players were showing up to play, you know, in this field, and it was basically the love of the game, and you know, it was a pretty like huge movie, but it kind of gave me that vibe, like where all the, especially when he's talking about that, the influences whose tomorrow's past. Yeah, I just got this sort of like Field of Dreams type vibe where like the greats, the musicians from the past were kind of playing like this one big show at the end when the whole thing's over. And it's a crazy thing, man. When a musician dies, it's something I did not understand when I was, when the first introduction I got to it was when Cobain died, and all the rocker kids at school. I mean, they were just completely, they were all. I wouldn't say they were all to themselves, because there was a couple very popular. There was this one kid named Nate. He was like the most popular kid in school, and he was like badass, show up to school with a guitar type guy, and he was. I mean, he was dunzo. It was terrible. I couldn't understand it. I was like, what is going on? Because I didn't understand.
I feel like it's got to be more, like, even more sad than when, an actor or an actress dies.
Oh, 100%. Because that person is representing you. Like, that person is, when it says, sing about life and sorrow that we all can relate to. Like, that's a real deep thing, man. That's a real...
And I feel like, let's say you see some movie that influences you and you love the artist and stuff, the actress or the actor. You get into the movie for 2 hours and then you move on with your life. And you might watch the movie again. Like, let's say you watch it 6 or 7 times.
Right.
So that's like a total of 14 hours. But the amount of hours that goes into listening to music, and a lot of times music isn't even visual, so it's really just like a connection of the soul.
Correct.
So I think that it's just the depth of it is...
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that the Cobain thing and seeing Nate like that, it was a weird thing for me. I couldn't wrap my mind around. I was like, these people are crazy. Like, what in the world? And then Biggie died, and Big dying was the first time I was like, it was a real gut punch, and I was like, wow. And I didn't, at the time, I didn't even like listen to a lot of Biggie. It was just, I was in New York at the time, and so the same thing happened because he was the biggest rapper in New York, and it was just a horrible situation for a lot of people. So it's this weird curse with musicians, man, that they affect people in a way, and this has been a historical thing too, not just modern rock and roll, but musicians. I'm doing a lot of Greek culture stuff right now, and their big thing were the poets. The poets were, that's the big thing. But it's still kind of the same idea. Is there are people who are talking about the human condition, and they're putting that thought process into a melody, and it goes straight into your heart, and it brings up memories, and it brings up and you kind of end up becoming friends with these people, which is a very strange idea, but you become. It was weird, like, when really started hanging out with Brian, with Head and all that, and like just talking, it was like we knew each other for so long, and there's a sense in which we did, because you're listening to the music, you're watching the interviews when you're a fan, yada yada yada. So it's I think it's a little bit. I think it's maybe you can lessen the blow a little bit now as a fan, because you can always go back to YouTube, and there's so much behind the scenes stuff now, and so much Instagram and things like that. But we're back in the day. Kurt Cobain dies, that's it. Like, you see a little clip here and there from MTV, and you have the videos, but that's pretty much it. Where now you can immerse yourself in the life of the people that you follow as musicians, because everybody's got their own YouTube channel and all this, and Twitter and Facebook and yada yada yada. So, I mean, it's that's what the song is to me. It's kind of like a Field of Dreams type of thing. But he came up with the lyrics like at 2 a.m. He came up with the lyrics and the music at 2 a.m, and then he calls up the singer, and they had this whole thing done by 3.
1 hour.
Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It took me, I don't know how long it took me to write our crappy little 3-minute.
Yeah, he said, I woke up at 2 a.m., wrote it in 15 minutes, called the singer, and we had it written by 3 a.m. Yep.
Yeah. I'm hitting up our drummer right now. Got your track down? He
You've had more than an hour now, so.
Yeah, he's like, your tempo is all over the place. He's like, what's the tempo? I sent him a screenshot of GarageBand, like what it said the tempo was. It said the tempo was like at 120, and then he reconfigured it. It was like 90. But you know, whatever. I was playing. So yeah, man, this is a crazy kind of. Yeah, I just got that Field of Dreams vibe to it. I can't believe you've never watched that. Well,
it's sports kind of leaning.
Yeah, it wasn't really about sports, but it definitely had a spooky feel to it. Like, it was a very weird feel to me, that movie. Like, it's a classic movie. My brother used to do monologues from that movie all the time. My brother's an actor, so like I used to hear him in his room all the time doing these monologues, the Field of Dreams or whatever. And he'd be like, that's one of the greatest, most well-written movies of all time. And
really?
blah, blah, blah.
Is it really that good?
Well, I mean, you know me. I mean, I'm not like, I didn't really think, I didn't really think it was that good of a movie, like the way that my brother was talking about it. But I also think that you need to experience like the loss of some of your heroes and the death of some of your heroes and the nostalgia.
Yeah.
You know, when you're very, very young, you almost have no use for nostalgia because you don't understand that there's anything to miss. You know, but my brother was a little bit older than me, and my brother was like an old soul, so he kind of had. He kind of had an appreciation
loss too, that he understood. Like, he handled, like, his emotions in the loss were more normal, I guess you could say, in the grand scheme of things. Like, some of it you were too young to really get at that point. So I think he had already experienced things that would.
That's 100% true. That's 100, and to this day, like, he and I are different in the way that we. I never look back and say, "Oh, I wish." I'm always like. Forward, like, everybody's alive, all right, well, let's go. Yeah, so this is a pretty deep song, man. It's a very, very, very deep song. That vocalist,
I feel like I could just listen to hours of the piano playing.
Yeah, with
the vocals coming in and then not being there. I do both.
Well, they had a lot of discipline here because, you know, like, there's a part of me that'd be like, all right, in the last third of it, dun, 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 you know what I mean? But they kept it mellow and they kept it patient.
But I feel like it was necessary because of the type of song that it was. Now that we've gone over the lyrics, like, it's not it really, that's the feel that goes with it. Like, don't forget me. I'm not going to forget you, but, you know, like.
Yeah, I think the light of candles at some level is also metaphorical of, like, keep doing the music. You know, like, and that's kind of how you light the candle, is that you know, you just keep going with the music.
Yeah, that's true. This song was lighting a candle. That's true.
Because I remember when we went to the Korn show, it was Korn and Alice in Chains. And I forgot the song that Alice in Chains did, but where everybody had their cell phones out.
I know, I don't remember what it was.
Put on the LED lighter or whatever.
If you watch the, we did a whole video on it. It's on our channel about going to the Korn show. It's in there. That's a fun one to watch. Yeah, so obviously backstage hanging out with Head, obviously, you know, for me as a Korn fan, obviously. But that was a very, very poignant moment when everybody's got the phones up there and you know, before that it was a lighter. You'd put the lighter up. But now everybody's got the phone. And it was just you're just looking around. It was like a sea of light. It was unbelievable. And at the time I was thinking to myself, I was saying a bunch of things, but one was, wow, this is amazing. Look what music does. Because right before the Alice in Chains jumped on stage, there was a fight. I don't know if you remember that. But there was this real ghetto chick and this other girl. The girl like threw her beer at her and all this. And I was like, oh my gosh. And the dude that was with her, he was just like, you could tell that, you know, she was not a very balanced person. So there was all this ugliness, and then, but like, I had no clue that was coming next.
20 to 30, yeah, 20 to 30 minutes later, there's, you know, all 16,000 of us, whatever, and everybody's got lights up like that. And I was like, wow, like this is because I was thinking to myself, both of these girls are in this sea of people somewhere. right? Because I mean, so I was like, wow. I was like, this is, for this one moment, these two are at peace. They're miles away from each other probably, but they're at peace with each other. And then the other thing that I thought was how sad it was that I think it's Lane, the singer of Alice in Chains, Lane Staley, that he wasn't there to see it.
Yeah.
That it's been 20, 30 years since these songs came out, and look how they're still affecting people and affecting a new generation of people. Look at all these lights, and he wasn't there to see it. So, you know, I thought about that too, and that was difficult. But there's a sense in which the fact that the band is still up there and doing it, and they got a new singer, they lit a candle for him, and they lit a light for him, and so you just got to look at it that way.
What did you think the ending was all about?
Well, will you remember me?
No, that sounded like somebody switching through the stations of a radio.
Oh, yeah, I don't know, because it's got Fortuna at the end, which Fortuna is about just life and how things happen to you. You know, sometimes you get a good shake, sometimes you don't. So, and then it was other things. I don't know if this is part of a concept record, which would be interesting if it was. But I was trying to listen to the dialogue and stuff like that, because you usually get a hint about what they're trying to say. But the only thing that stuck out to me was the Fortuna song, because obviously
the only thing that I thought of when I heard it was, so I wasn't looking at it as just a musical thing. I thought it was just people in general remembering each other in times that have passed and stuff. Yeah. And so the sound of, you don't do that anymore. You don't tune a radio like that.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen.
It's all digital.
And it just the time is always moving forward, and there are things that we're going to leave behind us, but they have that nostalgia, because I remember tuning my radio in my car like that, you know what I mean? And hearing that noise, and then, each generation is going to have something that was modern in their time, but now becomes a thing, a relic of the past when their children, get older. So, sometimes I tell the kids, I'm like, your kids are going to laugh at you. They're going to be like, what, you guys called it a flat screen, you felt so cool about your flat screen. I'm like, they're probably gonna have it so that way, in your room the whole thing is happening, so whatever it is it's all gonna be right there in the room. So they're gonna be like literally there was a screen, because our kids will mock us when they'll see some of the old shows, or even some of the concerts, because they're not clear, the recordings are not clear on the older stuff. So they're like, why could you even, it was the Jordan documentary. Yeah. They're like, how could you even sit and watch this and enjoy it? It's like, yeah, but that's what it was at the time. And so you didn't know any better. That was unbelievable what we were seeing then.
Oh, yeah.
Just they think that their flat screen Fortnite is so clear, the graphics are so amazing, but it's
well, they are.
I'm like, your kid, not when their kids grow up. Their kids are going to be like, what? You have this little tiny screen. Even though for us it's big, but so that's what I thought they were communicating through that. But I guess Captain Pants, you're gonna have to let us know.
It's a 9.4 for me.
It's a 9 for me.
Good Lord, Captain Pants! What a! I can't wait for these guys to go out and get full swing again, because they're actually a legitimately very, very good band. So there you are, dear listener. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.
Will you remember me? Remember me? Your last breath came from a melody we all sing in tune. Island clouds hold your memory. The rain plays it through. When I die tomorrow, light your candle for me. When I die cry tomorrow, but you'll remember me, remember me. Remember me. To the influences whose tomorrow's past, thanks for the show. Thanks for the show. When I cry tomorrow, will light the candle for you. When I cry tomorrow, well,